Hello and welcome, I'm Kurt, and today we're going to be going for a flight. Just head over and get a few settings. Currently somewhere in France, and I think what the plan is, we're going to bomb down to the Pyrenees and then fly along the edge of the Pyrenees. I've tuned some of the nav aspects of our plane, so what I'm going to do, let's just get up in the air and follow this. I don't like R2C, turn that off. Chuck some flaps in, let's get going. Right. Adjust the aileron trim. As we get a bit of speed up, what we're going to do is head up. How far? Say about 10,000 feet. And then we'll turn on the direction to navigate down to the Pyrenees. So afterburners on, let's pull vertical. Over the top, and we've got some navigation looking down at our panel. So right, as I turn, what I'm going to do is set my autopilot heading to match up with the nav1 direction. There we go. And we're going to get heading autopilot and altitude hold at and see what happens. So we've got a few panels excuse me, that we can look at here on my other display. So if I just bring those up, okay, that looks good. If we look at my left-hand display, I've got the center panel of my display. Now, I'm just going to bring up, let's get the map going there. So we're heading down here. Where are we? TBO, that's the direction we're heading at the moment. And if we just go back to the internal aircraft screen, in the plugins I can activate a tablet which operates on my second screen as well. So if I go over there, here we can see I've got another map. I'll just zoom out a little bit on that. It gives me a bit of detail. There we go. Right, back to the main screen. So I'll be looking at those two displays as we're flying on over France. So I've got the T7 in old-fashioned RAF colours. I do like this, it looks good. We can add a nose probe for the go. So the prototype had a nose probe just to confirm airflow around the actual aircraft. I don't like that. And I'm going to remove the interior mirrors as well. Right, so we're currently doing 517 knots at 14,200 feet. We're heading southeast-ish, hoping that we're going to see the Pyrenees soon. Yep, I can see them on the horizon. If we look down at the nav display here, and if I try and zoom in, I think, there we go, we can see I'm 56 miles away from where I want to be. In the second one, when we turn right, I'm currently 68 miles away from that. I was hoping to land on a carrier, but there doesn't appear to be one hanging around, so that's a bit of a shame. So I think that's one of the things that I'm probably going to have a look at and try and figure out a bit more how I can actually do that, is specify where I want the carrier to be. And I also discovered, after reading instructions, that we can actually sit in the back seat of this aircraft. Now the controls are pretty much the same, but it does give a different perspective on this. And then I've got some number keys. Using the number keys, I can look at particular panels, or even fly straight out. So if we go here, oh right, the tablet is only in the front display. So this tablet is a plug-in, and the idea of it is you use it in VR mode. Now, I am a fan of VR, and I would love to be more of a fan of VR, but unfortunately it makes me grossly sick. So that's not something that I can do. I think this is one of my favourite views. This is quite neat. And I can move. We can do this, and I don't think it doesn't look like it's actually modelling anybody in the aircraft, but you know, I can. So let's go back to rear seat view. Have a look. We're now 35 miles away from where we're going to turn right, and we're doing what, 517, just slightly over Mach 1, so it's probably causing a bit of a sonic boom to some people. I'd say I'm bothered, but I'm not. Currently have the weather on real weather modelling, so it downloads a file from the internet and then pretty much matches the weather that we have there. And I'm not actually in any decent scenery pack now, so this is the standard scenery that comes with X-Plane rather than the ones I have covering Great Britain. Don't think I have any that cover Ireland. I'm not sure if Northern Ireland counts. Or Northern Ireland is included in the pack. No, we're 24 miles away. So what I'm going to do, I think for a bit of a laugh, we'll turn the autopilot off, bomb down to a low level. We'll see if we can head straight over the VOR. So we'll turn autopilot off. We'll confirm that we've turned that off. Got a very slight roll to the right there from the aileron trim. Let's get down a little bit. Now, I'm a bit of a positive G fan. I know a friend of mine, he likes pulling negative Gs, and he's not fussed about that, but if you do too much of that, then X-Plane will model a red out. I'll display that in just a moment. That was interesting. I'm not sure what that was. I don't know why it did that. There was a bit of a movement there. Okay, so I'm following the nav screen. And we'll get down to see if we can fly directly over the TBO. Okay, so I'll show you my second screen in just a moment. I'm just going to zoom in a bit. And the second screen moving map image. You can see we're heading to TBO. My speed, airspeed indicator is flashing at me because I'm going slightly too fast for the rating for the ejector seat at this level. Okay. Right. We've pretty much hit that. So let's go to the Pyrenees. I've got a bit of a mountain range, so I'm going to see if I can fly up the valley for so I'm also using my phone. I've got X-Plane controller on my phone, which means I've got heads-up display. So when I am using the external view, let's do this view, and I can't see any of my instrumentation, I do have the information that I can see, so I know how fast I'm going, where I'm heading. I've got a moving map and so on. I think I was hoping I might find Po, the city of Po, but I'm not. I know it's on the Pyrenees, but I'm not entirely sure. I'm broadly speaking only aware of the city of Po through World Touring Car there's an airport, World Touring Car Championships, but I also know that it's the start place for pilgrimages to Lourdes, which actually I think that is coming up on my other map. Let's just zoom in. What have I got going on there? Po. Oh, Po is, yeah, let's head over Po in a moment. So, just flying over the town of Lourdes, and then we'll follow this valley up into the Pyrenees. We'll then try and head northeast, I think, fly over Po, and then head to San Sebastian and land there. I've basically got this set up in full non-afterburning throttle. So we're hitting about 550 knots, climbing gently with the valley and actually following the road. Although I think we're going to turn right here. That looks like more of a fun valley. So let's get in there. We'll get to the head to there. Yep, I think we can get to the head of this valley, and then jump out over the top of the Pyrenees and head to Po. I mean, the weather's quite nice outside at the moment. It would appear that the weather was pretty good everywhere. Looking good in Europe, or at least the west coast. Alright, I've throttled back, we're hitting, just dropping down from 400 knots. In a moment, chuck on the afterburners and we'll head up. Oh, look at that view. Knots. A reasonably high alpha turn there. Let's get out. take us back down the valley. Just changing view. Right, in just a moment I'm going to look at my other screen and zoom out. And where are we going? I think this will take us to Poe. Nope, no, we're going back to Lord's. Okay.
Over, G.
Let's get out of here. So as I pull G, my sight dims, the screen goes darker, which is what would happen in real life. And if I pull some negative G, the screen will go red. I'll do that in just a moment. Just get lined up. So if I push down, having a bit of a red out there with too much blood going into head. Okay, so it looks like somewhere down there is Lord's Airport. I think what I'll do, let's head up and see if we can get, oh, that looks like we're heading almost directly to just adjusting the autopilot heading to go to San Sebastian. Let's get that going. Right, it looks like we might be stuck in a bit of a altitude loop. See if we can just set down the altitude manually. I really think it doesn't want to do that. Right. Let's get that off. Get the caution off. I wonder if what's happening. Right, it looks like my trim is, elevator trim is messing up. Let's settle that down. Okay, that seems better. I have a feeling that's just dodgy input from the HOTAS system. So let's see if we can get the altitude settled. Try this again. So on my second screen here, I have information about flaps and trim. And then up here, I've got my map from the tablet system. So if we head back to the main screen. So the aim of these flights is essentially, I think I'm going to go around the edge of Europe bit by bit. I'm just going to wander around. So I've started in the UK. Genuinely can't remember which airport I started at. And I chose to So I was just thinking then, I think we're going to land in San Sebastian, which looks like it's just south of Biarritz. What are we doing for the... We're 25 miles away from that. We're probably going to have to head down and right in a moment. So we'll put the autopilot off. So I think I probably potentially started at RF Valley, and I went down the West Coast, potentially have just broken what I'm doing. Okay, that was interesting. I have reset. Wow. So on my phone, I moved the plane icon on my phone, and what that did is move my plane within the game. I was trying to do a pinch zoom, but it didn't like it too much. Let's just have a look down. Now at the moment you can see I've got roll to R2C on. It bugs me because then it's really hard to look at your equipment, look at the instruments. Right, let's try again. What we'll do, we'll head out to San Sebastian Airport. I'll try and zoom out again on... That seemed to work. Oh, it looks like I moved myself about 30 miles. Right, so I started at RF Valley. I think I then travelled down the west coast. I landed somewhere in the south of Wales, on the Isle of Barry maybe, or somewhere like that. Bristol. From Bristol, I can't remember where I went. I think it's Southampton. From Southampton, I'm not sure if that's my... Yeah, I think it is. And there's a slight juddering there in the controls, and I think that's my OTA system. Southampton, I think I headed across the channel and went to Jersey, landed at Jersey, and then went to France. And then we're 16 miles away from San Sebastian. Okay. France, somewhere in Brittany, and then a couple of airports down the west coast, and now we're about to head into what I think is Spain. Pretty sure San Sebastian is in Spain. So I'm just going to fly around Europe, following the coast, because the coast is actually reasonably interesting, and see what I can find out, basically. See what it looks like. Secretly, I'm looking for places to retire. Where is it that I can move to? So somewhere out to the right is an airport. So I'm looking at the River Valley. Let's just change my range on my map display. Oh yeah, I can see it. That's good. It's right by the side of the river. So what we'll do, we're going to land there. About 3,000 feet. We're doing 600 knots, which is a little bit too much to land at the moment. So I'm going to pull high G left-hand turn.
Over G.
That should burn off the speed. And then we'll join the glide slope. So engine's on idle at the moment. We'll use the speed brake to bring the speed down. Once it's below 200, we'll get the gear down. The gear on this really affects the drag, so we'll slow down a lot, so I'll have to power up at that point. And try and follow the lighting system on the runway. One red light at the moment. That was quite interesting. I think my flaps came on automatically just then. Right, down to 120 knots though. Everything gets a little bit soft. So because the airspeed is lower, there's less air over the control surfaces, so you have to exaggerate more what you're going to do. I don't think I'm happy about those trees just there. And this is one of those times I'm glad I'm in an aircraft with military brakes. Okay, that seems quite nice. Alright, so we'll see if we can park up near the terminal. Doesn't look particularly to me as though there's a taxiway out to the left, so I'm just going to hook it around and we'll drive the taxiway back. Yeah, it looks like that's water. Oh, we did have a very slight crosswind, so that's not so bad. Looking at the we're looking at the windsock, which is right next to a building, so that's pretty useless. Park it. I don't want to park it there, that's a bit boring. Let's see if we can find somewhere else to park. So we'll go outside view. Maybe we'll go in front. Now I like to think that, you know, we're a military craft, so we just go where we want. That's our general idea with these. To a full stop. Let's sit in the back seat. Now there was a menu. Ground equipment. Right, I have no idea what that means, so let's get things shut down. And let's have a look. Maybe that only works if we're in... Don't have any engine. Oh, it says it's on. Ah, oh, maybe that's somewhere else. Not entirely sure where to find that then. That's something for me to do. Right. So, thank you very much. Thoroughly boring video. And I'll see you next time.